Our most treasured family heirlooms are our sweet family memories. Let's take a walk down the road of our family history.
Well, I guess the first thing I should do is tip my hat and say, hello, my name is Anthony, as most of the family know me, but my correct name given at birth is Frank Anthony James Fontenot Jr. My parents are Frank and Teresa Fontenot. We'll go back to Poitou, France. That was, I think, like we call here a county. It might have been a parish, because in France I think it was related to as parishes, like in Louisiana, versus here in Texas is counties. And the name of that place was Poitou, I think, Poitou, France, in Saint Germain Parish. That's the way it was. That was a little town, I'm sorry, a little town. The old man that stayed there, that never did come to the United States, was Joachim. Here in the United States, that name is said to be Joachim, but in French, I was told it was called Joachim Fontenot. And the spelling of it, of the Fontenot name then, as it was all the way until Opelousas, and I'll get to that later, was spelled Fonteneau. That is the correct spelling of our name. It changed, and I'll get to that later. That great-great-grandfather removed probably 10, 12 times, never did come to America. He's in France, buried over there, I presume. His son, Jean-Louis Fontenot, was a sergeant in Latour's company, a French company of soldiers that came to the United States by way of, at the time it was Fort Alabama, which is now Mobile, Alabama, the Bay of Mobile, Alabama, and migrated up the river tributaries up to a place called, at that time called Fort Toulouse, and that place is in Wetumpka, Alabama, 10 miles north of Montgomery, Alabama, if my memory serves me right. Our great-great-great-grandfather, Jean-Louis Fontenot, is buried there. There is a memorial, a statue there that I have pictures at the house. That's where the first Fontenot of our clan settled at, was in that town, Wetumpka. From there, he married also, I forgot about that, he's our great-great-great-grandmother, Louise Henry. Don't know a whole lot about her. They had kids, of course, children. There's documentations as to how many and all that, and I don't have that in my mind right now. I do have documentation of it, but what I did follow was the boys that kept moving westward to get to where we are now. And one of them was Henri, the first one, Henry. Henri Fontenot. And in French that would be Henry. He migrated from there to the Pointe Coupée area, which is around New Orleans. I think Pointe Coupée is a parish around New Orleans. Also, I think is in Jefferson Parish, one of those. And from there, there was an Henri Jr., or Henry Jr., and he is buried in Opelousas. And I'm thinking I'd have to call Bev because she knows that church. I think it's St. Henry's, if I'm not mistaken. And he's actually buried there. We'd have to find it. I never did go look for his grave. But from that point, there was a son born of him and his wife named Durand. In French we call it Géron. So he ended up in Ville Platte, and that's where he's buried. And he married the daughter of his house servant. She was the house servant was a free mulatto slave woman. Her name was Rachel Durand. She had a daughter named Elizabeth, and must have taken her father's name, because on the pedigree sheet and birth certificate, her name was listed as Elizabeth Reed. She was 36 years old. Her mother was 58 years old, and Grandpa Géron, which was a Cajun, meaning Anglo or all white, and our great-great-great-grandmother, at least mine, it would be more greats for you, her name being Elizabeth Reed. The nickname for her was Liz, or Grandma Elise. Those were the names that were given to me by different old folks, people that saw them, that had the opportunity to see them. He married this young woman. Grandpa Géron was 38. The young lady, our great-grandmother, was 36. They married, they had 7 boys, 4 girls, if I'm not mistaken, that were living. And of those boys, 7 of those boys, here in Raywood, there's at least 3 or 4 of the word I think would be posterity, their kids are here.
How did the spelling of the Fontenot name change?
To be what I was told years and years ago, that it might have been a phonically spelled word, that someone that was influenced from the Spanish. You know, they were taking all the documents, because the Frenchmen, when they came here, a lot of them didn't have schooling. And I hate to say it like this, but I'm saying it in a respectful way, were illiterate, you know, not having schooling, and not able to sign their names and what have you. This is what happened. So somebody else was taking census and taking names, and they wrote the name, they spelled it, I guess, like it sounds to them, and that's what I was told.